I'd like to welcome Justin Ma. He's a rising 8th grader at Roberto Clemente Middle School, and he'll be informing us on the topic of music. Let's give a warm welcome to Justin.
Whether it's the new One Republic album, or your favorite song, or even that annoying tune the guy next to you is humming, it's all still music. However, most of us don't know why we love listening to music. Whenever we listen to music, a part of our brain called the nuclear activates. Let me spell that for you. This triggers a release of dopamine. Dopamine is also the same chemical that becomes triggered whenever you eat a hamburger or receive a follower on Twitter, causing you to want more and more. Music can also be used to determine our personality. For example, blues fans have high self-esteem, are creative, gentle, and at ease, while country fans, on the other hand, are hardworking and outgoing. Whenever athletes listen to music, they either found out that they worked harder or faster. This happens because listening to music can drown out our brain's cries of fatigue. Whenever we are tired and our body wants to stop, it sends signals to the brain. Music can help us override those signals. In conclusion, it's not only music fun and peaceful to listen to, but it's also a powerful drug that can improve intense workout. Thank you all for being such a great audience.
Thank you, Justin. Our next presenter will be informing us about the planets. He attends Kingsview Middle School and will be in 8th grade in the fall. Please give a warm welcome to Nishant Thakur.
Have you ever wondered about the mysteries of the universe, planets in the far-known region, or the galaxy? Well, right now, there used to be 9 planets: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Today, there are only 8 planets. Because in 2003, scientists discovered a 10th planet farther beyond Pluto, that it was twice the size of it. That was twice the size of Pluto, but looked exactly the same. And so later, scientists called Pluto as a dwarf planet, an asteroid orbiting around our solar system. We believe there are other planets far beyond our own. We believe there are more planets beyond the solar system, even in other galaxies. We don't know, but we continue to try. We continue to try. In the planet Mars, we believe there are life forms, alien life forms in that planet. But we never saw any. We believe that they are just hiding from us, but we keep on researching and trying to discover the specimens in Mars. We're not the only ones in this universe or galaxy, but there are many other life forms that we haven't known, but we still continue to know. In conclusion, the planets in the universe, the planets we know, maybe there are more planets than we ever know, or if we ever will know. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nishay, for that amazing presentation. I learned a lot about planets. Next up, we have Oliver Wu. He's a rising 8th grader at Mount View Middle School, and he'll be informing us on the iPhone 5S. Let's welcome Oliver.
Usually around this time of year, most families decide to get a new smartphone. But the question always comes up, which smartphone should I choose? There are so many to choose from. Well, I would personally choose Apple's latest phone, the iPhone 5S. First, I'd like to start with the design. The iPhone 5S builds off of the design of the iPhone 5, coming with 3 new colors: space gray, silver, and gold. It comes with an 8-megapixel camera with true tone flash, haptic focus, slow motion, and etc. The iPhone 5S includes Apple's latest Touch ID sensor, which is made of sapphire crystal and is the new home button. It is said to be the best of all smartphones to date. Next, the internal specs. The iPhone 5S comes with a 1,570 milliamp battery, which is approximately 100 milliamps more than the iPhone 5. Then the storage. It comes with the 3 usual storage sizes: 16, 32, and 64 gigabytes. And finally, the iPhone 5S comes with the A8 chip, which processes and calculates faster than the A7 chip, which is included in the iPhone 5 and 5C. But the main difference is the A8 chip has 64-bit, which means when future apps are created, this phone will be exclusive to those apps. This is why I highly suggest that you choose the iPhone 5S as your next smartphone. Thank you all for coming.
Next, I'd like to present Kenny Chu. He's a rising 8th grader at Roberto Clemente Middle School, and he'll be informing us on the end of World War II. Let's give a warm welcome to Kenny.
First, I'd like to thank you all for having me here today. Now, I'm sure you guys are all pretty happy to be here away from school, but you guys probably also had to take an American history subject. Now, in American history, there was World War II, which is also a subject I know a good amount about. Now, in 1945, World War II had already been ravaging the world for 6 years, starting in 1939. 9 years. 9 years, starting in 1936. Yeah, okay. But the Axis powers have been almost defeated, with Germany taken over by the Soviets when they were low on resources, and Italy ultimately betrayed and surrendered. But what was left was Japan. Now, Japan was notorious for their never say die motto, and because of this, the US, who were battling the Japan, made little progress in their campaign against them. Ultimately, it came to this: 2 plans: War Plan Orange and the prototype atomic bomb. Now, War Plan Orange was basically an attack strategy which focused on cutting off major trade supplies while bombing important cities. But the latter was the atomic bomb, which had never been used for military purposes before, but had been tested in New Mexico. Now, the atomic bomb had been sought after from all the nations. Germany, Soviet Russia, and the US had all been searching for it. And the Soviets Stalin, in letters with Truman, actually mentioned when they were raiding Germany how they had found German research labs and remnants of a German nuclear weapon project, which they had also come close. But in the end, the US got the bomb. Now, they made for military purposes. The first, they were called so because of their sizes. The first one was called the Little Boy, and it was more slender, but it was a bit more long. While the definitely larger one, the Fat Man, was larger and more powerful as well as heavier. Now, they were dropped in Japan in B-29 super fortresses, and the one dropped in Hiroshima was called the Enola Gay. Contrary to popular belief, the bombs were not exploded when they hit the ground. Instead, what would happen is they would drop them from about 35,000 feet up, and then they would drop the bomb. And before it hit ground, it would explode, so the explosion could have a maximum blast radius and hit as much of the city as possible. Now, they had dropped 2 bombs, but the little boy was less powerful than the Fat Man in terms of raw explosive power, but it actually was more effective in doing damage and claiming lives. This was because of several factors, such as general human error, terrains, and winds. But nevertheless, the 2 atomic bombs were colossal and very important in ending the war, and Japan surrendered almost immediately aboard the USS Missouri, and that was the end of World War II, which had ravaged our world for so long. Thank you for having me.